This is Dave with MDWK9. Hey everybody, it's David Phillips with MDWK9.com, and I just want to do another episode of Refilling the Dish. I'm assuming the route I'm going is refilling the dish will mainly be me talking to you like this. I'm working out some other things in my videos. I'm trying to make them more engaging and a little bit more educational. Hopefully it will work. It's a struggle because I have no idea what I'm doing with video editing, lighting, green screening. It's all experimental, so it's great. And I don't have that great of a camera. I forget what it is. It's a JVC. And now I dropped it a few times. It actually does have a touchscreen panel, but it's cracked. That no longer works. I dropped it yesterday while filming, and I broke a little bit more off of it. It was only $50, and I'm not doing too bad with the $50 piece of equipment. I mean, I can't get those sharp, clean images, or even with this green screen. I'm going to attempt to do this with another background. But I can't get those sharp, clean images that I would be able to with other cameras. But, you know, it's no big deal. That time will come where I have a decent video camera to record and do better things. It's just not that time yet. Yeah, dog training as an industry. There are a lot of people out there that are underqualified to train dogs. And on YouTube, there are a lot of people who speak very loudly about these folks that are underqualified. Although I'm glad some folks are speaking loudly, they just need to understand what they're capable of doing and where they should really focus their direction. I heard that this guy, he wanted to do positive training for police canines. Great concept and everything. It's really cool and he wants to do it, but he's been working on house dogs and doesn't have the education. I'm a positive trainer and I do protection. I've been studying for 4 years. It's been a very, very long time traveling all over Florida and hanging out with some awesome people. And not all of them are positive, but there's this wonderful person named Godfrey Dildai who came up with this awesome concept, which is called motivational training, training and drive. And this is what I'm teaching to you. I'm teaching it to you died down a little bit for your house dogs. But there is a concept already out there, a creator, somebody who wrote a book, who's made DVDs on how to do it using nothing but purely positive techniques. And it works great. I've been doing it for years. My dogs are wonderful. They're happy, they're obedient, they're not scared, they don't receive corrections. Now they're not perfect, but heck, out on the field, nobody's dog is. So it's not that big of a deal. But, like I said, it takes time. And for him just to go out there and do things apparently on flip-flops and with a blanket wrapped around his arm like a protection sleeve, I mean, get the equipment, tugs, they're not that expensive. You could cut up that blanket and use it as a rag to start developing a better bite and not necessarily wrapping it around your hands. I mean, I don't know. Certain things I think people should stick at, and if you don't quite know what you're doing, don't start to tell the public, especially if you have a decent amount of people following you and heeding your advice. I mean, it can be very dangerous, but, you know, who am I to judge? I should have been doing this 4 or 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, I was really thinking, how do I capture the public's attention? How do I garnish your attention to keep you engaged, to keep you watching what I'm doing? This kid shows me you don't have to do anything besides talking to the camera, talk to you guys like this. That's all you have to do, which is, to me, really cool because, you know, I was putting on a mask, doing some crazy camera angles. I don't want to do it right now because it's set up on a tripod, but doing some crazy things with the camera, you know, shouting at the dog, getting some different angles with the dogs. There's a lot of dogs in these videos. I never published them, although I did transfer them to a DVD and I handed them out publicly, locally. It didn't really gain too much traction. There were a lot of cuss words. That's another thing, man. I've really, for you guys, have been working on my cursing because I am a horrible cursor just in average everyday life. The F-bomb drops out of my mouth almost every other word. It's ridiculous, and especially for having such a young son. I mean, I'm not setting too good of an example, but, you know, I think talking with you guys and trying to spread awareness about dog training and the dog training industry has helped me a lot, because I don't want to sound like a bumbling idiot. And if I do curse, I want you guys to actually feel what I am upset about. If I overuse it, it becomes redundant and it makes no sense. But now let's talk a little bit about the dog training industry. I know I kind of started bringing that up. It is an unregulated field. It's very dangerous. Anybody could call themselves a dog trainer. I mean, anybody. You're an electrician, you're a crackhead down the street. Anybody and everybody could say, hey, I'm a dog trainer, pay me. I got a business card, I got it from Vista Printer, $10.99 for 500, man, pay me. It's very dangerous. And yes, of course, fear is going to work short term. You're going to almost see automatic results, but generally with positive training as well, whether you use a clicker or you use peer motivation, you can see almost instantaneous results. To keep, to keep those results going though, you have to keep training your dog. You have to practice. You have to put into practice what you learn. If you do not go out and train your dog or do what your trainer says, or even attempt to work with your dog with certain behaviors, your dog will never learn what you want it to do. It just won't. And it's really scary because I know there's a few people locally, I'm not going to mention any names specifically, I just don't want to drive the traffic there. I want to say they came into town 2 years ago. It's a kind of a franchisee, a franchise, and they specialize in shop training. He came from another state, I'm assuming because there wasn't too much dog training around here in the Tampa Bay area. I mean, when I first started in 2012 professionally, there was only a handful of us. Now it's like, I'm at the very bottom of Google. Every other freaking corner there's another dog trainer. It's crazy. It's crazy competitive, and it's getting ridiculous, and especially when you have folks like that and quite an abundant amount of people just like that. Not all of them use shock collars. Some of them use choke chains or pinch collars. But I was watching the video when they first started, and they were very heavy with the marketing. They were buying Facebook ads left and right, Google ads, so they got hit with a lot of clients very quickly. And I noticed the intensity which they're using the shock collar. I mean, you could tell when the dog is getting hit from the shock collar, they shake. Well, there's this one instance with this dog. It shook and it peed itself. It peed right there because, you know, the intensity of the pain. And people were still, and they still are, going to them. And they have mixed reviews, and I don't blame people for giving mixed reviews. I mean, because I'm sure they've screwed up a lot of dogs being ignorant and not knowing how to use the tool. First of all, and claiming that you're a dog trainer is very, very scary. And then, of course, you have those other trainers running around town showing people how to do place, which, in my mind, place is a simple sit stay or a down stay. They want to say, oh no, it's this big whole thing. Place is completely different. No. Place is just a stay. Just you're saying place and associating an object with the command stay. So it is completely different, but they're running around doing this, and they do it completely off of compulsion. And compulsion, I'm not saying anything else. When I talk about compulsion, I'm talking about a physical correction. You know, I know compulsion could mean many different things if you look up the term in the dictionary, but what I'm talking about is strictly physically correcting your dog. And they're running around town just going left and right, and they're getting a lot of business. I mean, they kind of buffed me out of a dog rescue. I was helping out this dog rescue. I stopped promoting myself, and I went on a hiatus to go on their property, to go on their land. They had 10 acres to try to clean it up, to envision what I thought a dog rescue would be. But, you know, it was bad. I want to say this lady really isn't a dog rescuer. She's more of a dog hoarder. And I can't believe I supported that organization as long as I did, and thinking that they're actually going to have my back, or they wanted to see some change. I was trying to contact the county and get a little dog paw print pool put in there, and just have a whole bunch of volunteers working with the dogs for free, or maybe start paying some folks, you know. But instead of doing that, they wanted to buy those smart watches, new induction cookers, new trucks, and a whole bunch of stuff that just doesn't sit well with me. They also jam-packed my house while we have a young kid, full like 12 or 13 dogs, and I have a relatively small house. It's 1,100 square feet and about 1/4 of an acre of land in the backyard, which is not that much for that many dogs. It was literally hell on us, and it had to be hell on the dogs because the living conditions were just not up to par. And I'm very embarrassed that I actually lived and supported somebody like this. But anyways, that trainer buffed me out of that rescue while I was on the property before I started realizing all this stuff. And he started just correcting throughout the whole rescue these dogs that have already been abandoned, that have already been abused, that have already had all this mental anguish going on, just destroying even more and more and more and more of these dogs. While I was with this rescue, I took, I want to say 5 highly aggressive dogs. I transformed 2 of them for sure. There was a pit bull that we had a lot of work that we just gave up our hands and the rescue took him back. I don't know if they killed him. And another German Shepherd, he was an older Shepherd. You could tell he was trained to attack. He was trained using the sleeve. Because like I said, I do protection. I have worked on it for a while. And when I was going to the field to work with some dogs, I had to grab my equipment, which consisted of bite sleeves. And he got super excited, so I decided to do an escape bite with him. If you don't know what an escape bite is, that's okay. You can look it up or not. I don't really give a crap. But I just decided to do an escape with him. He laid down perfectly, and I ran, and he hit the bite bar, which is rare for a dog that was not trained. I mean, just to hit the bite bar perfectly. We did a few more exercises, so he was trained. I really didn't want to work with him too much because that's what he was trying to do. I mean, he was an old dog, about 12 years old, and I don't know what happened to him either, but there's a Shar-Pei mix, there was a Shepherd, Shar-Pei mix, Shepherd, and, well, heck, I think that's about it. Shar-Pei and Shepherd, but that pit bull that didn't get rehomed, that I didn't say I don't think I completely transformed. I mean, I didn't transform completely any of the dogs. I mean, you really can't. What they're ingrained with, what they're imprinted as, is what they're imprinted as, but you can manipulate them to a fault. If they're truly aggressive, they're always going to have that aggressive tendency, and it's, what they learned as a puppy is going to have a huge ploy in it. And this dog, Davey, the pit bull, I have a few videos, maybe I'll upload them, but he was absolutely nuts when it came to people and other dogs. I found out it was fear from the alpha rule crap that Cesar Millan does. Every time you approached him, he thought he was getting in trouble, so he flipped over, showed you his belly, and then as soon as you got close to him, he started sprinting around the house. And then he tried to attack dogs. Every time he saw a dog, he wanted to attack them. But I got to the point where I could bring him to these adoption events that my wife and myself hosted for this organization for years. And we got to the point where we could bring him to adoption events and be necessarily 6 inches away from another dog, sitting politely and behaving. So as soon as I let him off the leash and I were to say yay and let him out of that mind frame, more than likely he wouldn't have been so good. He would have found himself in some trouble, but I could recall him and I could bring him back fairly simply. And this is all purely positive. But this joke, man, he wants to take these dogs and put a choke chain on them and start jerking them around more when that's their main issue, is that they're punished way too much. And it's ever growing and never stopping. And I don't think it ever will stop until we put laws and regulations into things like breeding and even dog ownership. Hell, do I think everybody should own a dog? No, I absolutely do not. Not everybody has a right to own a dog. Just like not everybody has a right to drive a car. You have to pass a test and get your license, and then there's a bunch of rules and regulations on the road which you could lose your license like that. So it's those type of things that I think we should put into play with dogs. Dogs are very dangerous. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm working on other videos and another series that are taking up a lot more of my time than just talking into a camera. So I'm not going to start posting up videos here and there with this episode. I may have a dog somewhere where you guys can watch in the video. That way, it's not just me talking, but you also see dogs. But it's just crazy. We need to put some more regulations. Dogs, they are very dangerous, and generally the aggression is taught. And it's taught either by thinking that you're comforting the dog when it's being aggressive, saying, oh no, it's okay, don't be scared, and you're talking to it, you're petting it. Or a lot of the times with these high drive dogs, which a lot of people do own and they just don't know how to handle, a high energy, should I say, not just high drive, so you understand me, but these highly energetic type of dogs, they get them and they start trying to control them, and the more control they put on them, the worse they're becoming. It's this wonderful thing called the opposition reflex. Dogs have the opposition reflex, so if you pull one way, they pull the other. You tell them no, they're going to go yeah, unless you give them that respect. And especially these highly energetic dogs, they're going to hold the most resistance to being controlled, just like you or I would. If somebody grabbed your ear or grabbed your arm, put it behind your back, and tried to drag you to something that you absolutely hated, you're going to be kind of upset. And especially, like, for instance, let's say the police just randomly pulled you over. Right? It's a hot topic right now about the shootings and everything else going on with the police. The police pull you over, drag you out of the car by your arm. You did absolutely nothing wrong. You have your insurance, you have your license. You're good. You're just your average citizen doing absolutely nothing wrong. They grab you by your arm, drag you out, sit there and say, what the is wrong with you? And all this other stuff. You're going to hold resistance. You're not going to sit there and say, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. You're going to be like, man, I didn't do anything. More times than not, you're going to start resisting. And you could end up dead very quickly. Just like these dogs. The more control you put on them without earning their respect, the more they're going to resist you. So people, it's time to start treating your dogs better and treating them like they actually have a mind of their own, and they are intelligent beings that can learn through love and care. You don't have to be the leader. They don't care for being a leader. Now you do have dominant, stronger dogs, but like I said, the more that you and them gain and earn each other's respect, the more they're going to listen to you and do what you ask them to do. Well, that's it for now. I don't think I'm really going to edit too much of this, man. It's going to just kind of be raw and uncut. But if you like what you're seeing, you enjoy my advice, you think I'm an awesome person or whatever, man, click like, subscribe, follow us on all the social media. There will be plenty more videos. Like I said, I'm in the learning process, and I'm getting a lot more comfortable and not giving a crap. I love you guys. Bye.